What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Shout out to all of the chasers. Shout out to all of the new chasers. Shout out to everybody that's in the building that's getting that bag, running it up. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feel today? Y'all feeling great? I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because we got a great show that's lined up for y'all. I'm also excited because we had a great show last night. I see Molly in the chat. Shout out to my girl Molly. Truly dedicated. Truly dedicated. I don't know what it's like to have a woman like her around. She different. She a different breed. Got crazy work ethic. Hold it down. Hold me down every show. Truly dope. I appreciate her. And she always letting me know how much she appreciate me behind the scenes, that I appreciate her too. Shout out to all of my ladies, man. Shout out to all of my fellas. Shout out to everybody that did what they did and doing what they doing and running up a bag. I think we got a great show lined up for you guys tonight. All right. So yeah, last night was crazy. I think that after hours, I don't know. We got a little bit of a competition that's going on right now. We got a crazy competition that's going on right now. We got a competition that's going on with Millionaire Morning Show, the Anton Daniels channel, and After Hours all at the same time. It's crazy. What's up? What's up? I see what y'all want me to talk about. We gonna get to it. We got a whole show lined up for y'all. But first, let me acknowledge some of the Cash App Super Chats, and then we gonna deep dive. I want to give a shout out to Myron. Myron said, I'm new. Thanks. I appreciate you, Myron. Thank you for holding me down. Also want to give a shout out to ESDC and Mike, that dude. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to my guys. Shout out to the people that hold me down on a regular basis. It does not go unnoticed. You guys are the MVPs of the show. I also want to give a shout out to Nicholas Henry. Nicholas Henry says, just read the story about the Dolton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henyard fighting at a town hall last night. What's your reaction to the ratchet mayor? We'll talk about it shortly. We'll get there. Thank you for supporting the platform. Martin Muhammad says, sup, UAD fam. What up, though, to my Cubs? Not sure what Slim or Q were on last night. Who wants to work daily? Man or wife? I think we confuse work and a job. F a dead end job, but I love to work daily in service and to my purpose. I appreciate everybody that hold me down. Thank you for the cash apps and the super chats. We are in Studio A, the studio that we live from every single day. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping. First, again, if you are new to the channel, enjoy hitting the like for the algorithm is your reasonable expectation. That's your price of admission. If you've been here more than once, you should be subscribed. That is a problem if you've been here more than once and you're not subscribed. Also, you should be sending this to your friends and family because we are the greatest morning show on the face of the earth, bar none. All right. Next, I do not expect super chats. I do not ask for super chats or cash apps, but I do appreciate the people that support the platform. So it does not matter what you give. I am not one of those content creators that's on the high horse that think that I can't recognize people because they give $1 or $2. I appreciate anybody that support the platform and just hit a like for the algorithm. So I'm always going to be acknowledging the people that hold us down. Thank you, thank you, thank you for just being here, and thank you for subscribing. Also, I would invite you guys to subscribe to all of the different platforms that we got going on. Thank you to our sponsor, Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. It is a phenomenal product. Live stream this afternoon for bag chasers. Stock Club, we here. Information is inside of the Patreon. That link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you're not a bag chaser, don't ask me what time the Patreon is. You know what it is if you are a part of the bag chasers. 3 p.m. Eastern, and then adjust for your time zone today. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? We got a heck of a show that's rocking out with today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Lord, we ask that you be before us today. Bless us to have a good time. Bless us to be entertaining, but also to accept the medicine that is inside the candy. Bless us not to be crash dummies and crashing out. It's hump day. It's hump day, and we are going into the end of the month and the beginning of the new month, and life is absolutely awesome. We love you. We appreciate you. Bless us not to be bag fumblers, but bless us to be bag catchers. Bag chasers sound better, but bag catching is much more effective than bag chasing. You know what I'm saying? Lord, we love you. We appreciate you. Be with us in everything that we do today. And going forward, we ask everything in Jesus' name. All right? Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let me acknowledge one more super chat, and then we're going to get it popping. Jamal Fowler, what up, though? I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. I see the Gucci hat. I got one just like it. I just ain't showed it yet. I feel you, big dog. Get it, get it, get it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started with the show. Again, this is the Millionaire Morning Show. We're going to get to it. We got several different subjects that we need to tackle today. We got to go over to Thornton Township to see what's happening with Tiffany Henyard. We kind of discussed it last night, but let me give you all my thoughts today. Trump, couple different Trump subjects. Number one, he's offering a buyout to over 2 million federal employees. I'll break that down for you guys also. Vowing to get rid of income tax. I think he would be the greatest president of all time if he did that. We're going to go over to Trump's new press secretary, breaking down whether or not federal funding is being paused for different programs. We're going to talk about Brandon Johnson and so much more. So again, if you guys are not subscribed to the greatest morning show on earth, we don't miss. We come to you every single morning. We are independent media, but we are expecting to be a press at the White House very, very soon. I'll tell you all about that later. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's continue to get into the show. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. So Thornton Township, let's start here. All right. For those of you that may be living under a rock or may not be familiar with what's going on over in Dolton, Illinois, or Thornton Township, they are very much a sister city, the little sister, the little cousin of Chicago, meaning that this is a very dysfunctional place. This is an incredibly dysfunctional place, all right? It's no place like it on earth. Actually, it's probably plenty of places like it on earth because in every city, in every ghetto, in every town, there's a duplicate of it. We just don't get it front and center to see for ourselves as much as we get to see now, especially in the social media era, right? But last night, Thornton Township supervisor, who also doubles as the mayor in Dolton, Illinois, a small city, held a meeting in the township, and often at times in these township meetings, in these town halls, they give the people an opportunity to speak. All right. In this instance, which I was informed of it literally 3 minutes before we went live last night on After Hours. In this instance, there was a gentleman that came up and he decided to address Tiffany Henyard, and we know that you can't really control how people talk. And he decided to get incredibly disrespectful. And then obvious, a little bit of a skerfuffle decided to break out. So let's let the news break it down, because it seems as though that's the safest place for it. And then we'll get into it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock, y'all.
Breaking right now in the south suburbs, fist fights at a Thornton Township meeting tonight. This was our view from two different vantage points. Leaders are forced to clear the hall and stop working again as the chaos erupts.
In Battle Township, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard made a rare appearance there tonight, getting into the fray herself.
Our Jermont Terry witnessed it all. And Jermont, this happened after several Henyard-supported employees were suspended.
I see you, Jermont. Hold on. Before we get into this show, can we not acknowledge the people that's putting on their Sunday's best in order to bring the news source? First of all, I see you. I see you, news anchor lady. I ain't never seen this one before. We pretty familiar with all of these different people that's over there in Chicago and New York and Miami and Los Angeles and all across the United States of America. But news lady, I see you. Is this a new one? They got them a new one? Where'd they get this one from? She just graduated? Came from another city? Shout out to her. And then shout out to Big Dog. He said, listen, I don't know if I'm going to church. I'm going to a Thornton Township meeting. But I know one thing. I'm going to put the dive to the side. I'm going to match, put on my pea coat. And then I also got my scarf up under it. That's complimentary. Shout out to the people. Listen, this is how black people used to dress in the 50s and the 60s before they decided to go ahead and fumble the bag and start having a bunch of kids out of wedlock and letting the government break up their families. When they went to baseball games, they dressed like him. I don't have nothing to say negative about the people that put on their Sunday's best and they ain't even going to church. They going to work. All right? We getting uniformed up. It's played out to just be dusty every day. Dusty is played out. All right, let's get back to Thornton Township. We don't want to get distracted because you know how we can get over here on the Millionaire Morning Show, all right?
That's exactly right, Erica. Tonight's meeting was the first in months that they've had here in the township. And it ended with South Holland police getting called in and shutting it down after Supervisor Henyard's boyfriend squared up with someone making disrespectful comments towards the supervisor during public comments. And as you mentioned, it's a fight the supervisor found herself in the middle of, too. As Jedediah Brown finished his public comments directed to Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, he ended with this. You gone. And before Brown could get back to his seat, Henyard's allies, including her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, confronted Brown and punches went flying.
Let me start here. I want to add some additional context into this conversation before we continue. I want to add some additional context into this conversation before we continue. All right? Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, I know. I seen that, Quentin. That's crazy. We're going to talk about it. So he didn't just say you gon' be, and you know what the word be says. He said that she wasn't married. He was calling her out of her name. And I listen, the same way that I was objective in evaluating Vivek Ramaswamy yesterday, I can't take sides when I see degenerate behavior. One person's degenerate behavior does not beget another person's degenerate behavior. I am not a fan of Tiffany Henyard and the way that she has managed Thornton Township or Dolton, Illinois. But I will tell you that I have never seen a person talked to so disrespectful that don't even know you. If somebody come out of the blue that you don't know personally, meaning that they not your sister, they not your brother, they not your friend, you ain't never did business with them, so on and so forth, they don't even live in your city. And then they start calling you all kind of names in a public meeting and they have zero respect for you. I don't tolerate that. I don't even tolerate it when it comes to my platforms. Even on after hours where we get some of the most degenerate Room 9 people coming in and saying some of the most egregious things that I've ever seen in my life, there are ground rules, and the ground rules is that you don't start to get personal against people's wives, husbands, spouses, children, so on and so forth. You have to have some level of decorum. And I don't know how y'all have gotten to the point to where you become so degenerate to where you can just be that disrespectful and evil because you don't agree with how a person is managing finances, resources, or operating as a government employee. What does that then do for you if you then start to insult? Because even the late, great Kevin Samuels, my friend, says that the minute that you start getting personal, when you having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, especially in person, the minute that somebody start throwing ad hominem attacks, you are the loser of that conversation. And you got all of the other degenerates of the city cheering it on. Again, I am not a fan of Tiffany Henyard in a way that she moves and operates. I have been one of her biggest critics. But at what point do you draw the line and that we have to remain professional and you cannot get up there saying some of the most egregious stuff that don't even have nothing to do with city business? Thorough the executive, you show that you are no executive at all. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Are y'all that degenerate? Are we that stupid? Is this what you want respect for? This is why we will forever be the laughing stock of the world. This is why when you go places, you ask, why are they stereotyping me? Because they expect for you to be a ghetto, ignorant buffoon walking around doing dumb stuff that like you ain't never been taught no home training. See, I don't really care about what you think. The only thing I care about is telling the honest to God truth. This is why you get zero results. And of course, I know you don't care, because how do you start to negotiate with people that's from the streets? You can't negotiate with people from the streets. I can't tell you. So it's some people that's going to justify it and they're going to be like, yeah, but it don't matter because we angry at her and we don't care because she messed up the township money. I'm not talking to you in this situation because I know that you're going to be degenerate no matter what. Hood rats do hood rat things. Hood boogers do hood rat things. Pookie do hood rat things. So this is not for you. This is for the people that actually want to be better and want to be respected and want to move a little bit differently and want the best for their community and want the best for their city and actually want to be a representation of what is good. Because when you see these ghetto ignorant people, this is why they vote the way. This is why she's in office in the first place. Is because these same people exhibit this behavior in every aspect of their life. I don't mess with the trash. We take it out, we throw it in a dumpster, and we forget about it. We let the landfill deal with it. We let their incinerators deal with it. I'm not going to justify trash behavior to people that think like an idiot. When you going to grow up? You up there with a microphone calling somebody a B, calling them out of their name unwarranted, and you not even from there? You ain't even in the city. You don't even pay taxes to that place. You pulled up to a meeting that you wasn't even invited to. As crazy as that sounds. Couldn't live there. Couldn't live there. That's why when I see y'all out and about, when I see y'all at certain spaces in a restaurant, when I start to see too many of y'all inside of the neighborhood, that's my cue to move. Anton, why you want to be around your... that ain't my people. Them ain't my people. My people are people that it don't matter what color you are, know how to handle themselves and know how to have a conversation without it turning into a fight. Those are my people. When I see too many people moving into the neighborhood, I said, you know what? It's time to go. What? I started to see a couple more pit bulls than I normally wouldn't be able to see. I start looking. I start to see Amazon packages disappearing off of the steps. Raise eyebrow here and there. Real talk. Start seeing too many rims on too many cars on the side of the driveway. What's going on over there? Loud music past 10 and 11 o'clock on the street. You still having house parties? I started looking, oh, look. Call Rita over. Hey, Rita. You see what's going on down the street down there? Hey, Les, what you expect? Les drive by. Oh, yeah, Dad, I seen them. They was fighting out on, they was what? They was fighting on a what? Call the realtor in the morning, get the for sale sign, time to go. Call the realtor, get the for sale sign. It's time to go. Let's get out while the getting is good. We don't want to be amongst the degenerates. Same thing for white people. See dudes keep sniffing every time that they ring the doorbell, keep asking for things. Hey, can I borrow your trash can? Read, is that a meth head over there? No, Anton, I don't think he on meth. I think he on meth. Did you see him? His eye sockets is starting to go in a little bit. See the white girl keep on going in and out of her house every day. See too many guys keep pulling up. You think Rita? I'm just like the old folk now. I call Rita. Look how many cars. Look on the ring camera. Look how many cars is going in and out of there. What you think going on? I think she's selling box. I know a box seller when I see one. This is the thing that we decided to get away from when we was in the hood. We know box sellers when we see one. You think she's selling box? I know she's selling box. Call the realtor. Time to get out. Time to go. Time to go. Nope. Time to go. Let's get out while the getting is good. Get out while we got our real estate prices at the top before we can get too many other people in the neighborhood. There's too many people getting money around here. Too many PPP loans around here. Let's continue.
Several men joined the tussle where people threw punches and started kicking.
Look at this
Security
nonsense.
guard tried separating the men. Witnesses say Henyard, who was in the front of the room with the board of trustees,
you don't know what a
ran
box
towards
seller
that
is?
tussle.
Southern
Her
Charm?
intentions
Chat, explain to Southern Charm what a box seller is.
unclear, but she did lose a shoe and was thrown to the ground. This guy in the black t-shirt is Kamal Woods, Henyard's boyfriend. He was also at the center of the trustees' agenda.
I would like to make a motion to put Kamal Woods and William Moore on administrative leave.
Woods was hired by Henyard to run the township youth program, and many on the board and in the community have questioned the work he and William Moore, another Henyard ally, ever did in Thornton Township. The board placed them on paid leave immediately as investigations into their positions get underway.
Why is it with pay? Because they've been on leave with pay. They haven't done anything relating to what their roles are supposed to be.
Henyard tried keeping the trustees from making the vote and argued placing Woods on leave is nothing more than personal.
No, and this is political retaliation. So again, thank you for the lawsuit, because y'all just picked certain individuals. Y'all didn't come in here do no research, so I appreciate it.
Look at this. Look at
But
the
what
look at
was
these
not
fools.
appreciated is the chaos residents
Look at these
had to see
fools.
firsthand.
And let me be clear, it was way worse than that. The news is only showing what the news can show, but it was 10 times worse than that. He got off. The boyfriend decided that he wanted to walk up. He didn't realize that it was other ops inside of the place. They all jumped him. It was bad. It was just bad. Absolutely, this dude should not be on the payroll. 100%. I do think that she's been absolutely negligent in managing resources and taking care of business. And I think that when you see all of this cheering and fighting and going on, it is a reflection of the community that they serve. She is nothing different than the people that's in there. Every last one of those people that's in there. All of the ones cheering to get her out. You know what Thornton Township is? You know what Dolton, Illinois is? It's just like your local high school that's in the hood. None of those people inside of there is any better or any different than Tiffany Henyard. I stand on that, and I stand 10 toes down. All of y'all are ghetto. She ghetto. You ghetto. If you are watching this and you in Dolton, Illinois, and you think that this is cute, and you went and you was cheering and you was doing all of the extra, you were part of the problem too. She ain't no different than y'all. That's the reason why she in the position in the first place. You voted for her because you couldn't identify and see through the signs. I think that we just need to throw the whole Dalton away. I think y'all deserve exactly what y'all get. Just watch it from above. Watch it from above and just look at him and see what's going on. I heard that homie, I don't know what his name is, he went live. I don't agree with his behavior either. And y'all just cheering it on. Just cheering it on. Just all in. Yeah, F that beat. No kind of. That's why nobody respects us. Nobody. They don't have no regard for us. They said just let them eat their own. How they operate in these meetings is the same way that we operate in our neighborhoods. It's the same way that we are on the job. It's the same way that we are in our relationships. It's the same way that we are in our voting patterns. It's why it's so easy for them to put Meg Thee Stallion up there in order to twerk while they're in campaign season. We just, children of Israel. Ain't none of them gonna see the land of milk and honey. None of them. Should have just left you in bondage. Should have just left you in bondage. Let my people go. Just horrible. Horrible. Chicago trash. Dalton is trash. Trash begetting trash. Y'all having trash children. Your children trash. Your grandparents was trash. Mama is 37. Grandmama is 47. Daughter is 27. Granddaughter is 17. Everybody trash. It's the whole culture just trash. Just throw the whole thing away. Throw the whole thing away. Good God. Look at that. The only people that ain't black in there was a couple of people, the lawyer, and then the other alderman or city council person that was in there. Everybody else, you leave y'all to your own devices. You can run your own city, got your own police chiefs, all of that stuff. And somehow, some way, it just turns into trash. And then you'll say the system is set up against you. You are the system. Trash. Trash, trash, trash. So, just wanted to hit on that real quick to make sure that we understood what was going on in Thornton Township. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show with something that actually can help us and benefit us other than watching a bunch of zoo animals throw shots so somebody can show up. I guarantee you, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, we're going to get a report of somebody retaliated because they homie got hit inside of a Thornton Township meeting. And we just going to be looking straight up like, If you any kind of respectable person and you over there and you have the ability to move, you need to get out now. Shell Shock says, just showing some love to the back chasers and my 80s brother Anton. Much respect to all. Keep it cool. Keep it cool, big dog. Shalom with Nadia says, good to see you, my good sir. Shalom and Rock. Shout out to you, baby girl. I don't know what that means, but I love you. She disrespected the previous speaker. That's why he called her a B. Interesting. So I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna defend somebody else that I don't even. You right, you got it. Good morning, bag chasers. RFK Jr. is hearing today. Yeah, we gonna cover that tomorrow. Shout out to my dog Foxhole. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super sticker. Brownie Williams says, good morning. This morning, Anton, did you hear about the Michigan rapper that is suing Lyft? Yeah, y'all will see that video drop today. I did a reaction to it. Her lawyer stated that in the state of Michigan, weight is a protected characteristic by law. Sad. Yeah, that's crazy. I was cracking up. You'll see it on the Anton Daniels channel. The Audacity podcast is in the building, says some people are an embarrassment to humanity and their families and their kids and their daddies and their mamas. I don't agree with Anton on a lot of things. I'm a moderate, leaning liberal. Shout out to my liberals that's in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Although this, I agree, you can't take ignorance seriously. I'm glad we joining in on that. Country Boy Finesse says people mad at Trump for freezing federal funds. We'll get into it. Bridget Denise says, I got a super sticker for you. Thank you, Bridget. I appreciate you. Bill Free Media 313 says, Strag A always talking about research they did you dirty. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Couple big dogs came through in the chat today. Shout out to my dogs. High Tolerance says, good morning, AD, and shout out to you and the Bag Chasers. I went in for my colonoscopy yesterday, and thank God for that clean bill of health. Doc says, see you in 10 years, fellas, get it done. Yeah, we got to take care of our health, fellas. We got to go to the doctor. We got to make sure that we good. We got to eat right. We want to live forever. If you're going to make all of the money, you got to be able to live to spend it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, High Tolerance. I appreciate you. My dog in the building. MTR says, shout out to the Chasers. Keep cooking. We love MTR over here. We support MTR over here. We think that MTR is doing the Lord's work. He is a good brother. He pays his taxes, and he puts out great content, and he stands on business, and he actually gives guys realistic, actionable steps to both protect yourself and how you need to move when it comes to being successful in life and to navigate against these muddy waters when it comes to people that are doing things that's not in the best interest for you, including the very ones that look like us that may take on a womanly form, but is really a chameleon in real life. Shout out to MTR. We love you, bro. I love you, bro. I always tune into your show. You are hilarious. And shout out to the girl that tried to shoot her shot at you. Said they need Dr. Umar. Shout out to my dog, Craig G. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got Stock Club today. Is going up on a Wednesday. Let's get into the show, all right? So let's talk about Trump. We're going to go into two different subjects for Trump. The first thing that we're going to talk about is federal buyouts. Trump is initiating, offering federal workers, over 2 million of you guys, buyouts to no longer be a part of the federal government. Let's deep dive into it. We're going to look at it from two different lenses. All right, we want to go first to NBC News and get some understanding on what's going on here, guys.
Tonight, as part of his promise to reduce government spending, President Trump is making more than 2 million federal workers an offer. Quit now and accept a severance package. NBC News first reporting federal employees received the offer by email late this afternoon. The White House expects 5 to 10% of the federal workforce to accept it, which could lead to $100 billion in annual savings. But tonight, in a blow to the administration, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the president's attempt at another government shakeup, after the Office of Management and Budget overnight ordered a temporary pause on grant, loan, or federal financial assistance programs that might run counter to President Trump's executive orders.
It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being a good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Democrats immediately assailed the president's action.
Law enforcement, rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need. This decision is lawless, dangerous, destructive, cruel.
While several state Democratic attorneys general sued to block the move.
We're going to get into that a little bit later because I'm going to play a huge portion of the press secretary's conference that she did yesterday. I think that she's awesome. It was her first one. A stark contrast to what you experienced for Karine Jean-Pierre, who was Biden's press secretary in particular. But let's talk about this for a minute. This federal buyout, okay? So there's always multiple waves when it comes to a federal buyout. The first wave is neg out. Do y'all know what a neg out is? I didn't say N-I-G-G-A. I said neg out. N-E-G-O-U-T. Neg is short for negative. That's what you do when you want people to quit because they're not going to comply and they wasn't doing their job in the first place. And so instead of you having to offer them a buyout, they decide to quit. I would never advise for anybody, even if you're a trash employee, to quit your job because you're souring on the idea of working for this person. No matter what job you do, if you want to protect the bag, you never let them neg you out. You show up. I see it happening with Jimmy Butler in the NBA right now. They basically baiting this dude to give up $20 million plus because he don't want to do what he's supposed to do, and he's not complying when it comes to whatever the Miami Heat culture is. So now he's suspended indefinitely for conduct detrimental to the team. He has a $49 million contract, possibly a $52 million contract if he opts in for next year. and he wants to walk off during practice when they say you ain't starting, man, I don't care if you say I'm not starting or not. I'm not missing out on $1. So instead, you throw a temper tantrum, you walk out, you nag out, you decide that you don't want to join on the team playing, so on and so forth. Well, guess what? Now you're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, $700,000-$800,000 per game that you miss, and you suspended indefinitely. The one thing that we don't do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show is we don't fumble bags, all right? So that's the first wave. The first wave was to nag y'all out. How did they nag you out? Well, they say, listen, you're not doing what you're supposed to do on the jobs. We can see the data. We can see the statistics. We're bloated in hiring government workers, partially because the Biden administration, in order to prop up the job numbers, overhired people, created multiple different departments, hired a bunch of IRS agents that's not really doing a job. They also did what? Created diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. They sent money over to Gaza. They got a whole team that's sending condoms over to Gaza to the tune of $50 million and grant money. And so it's a lot of money that can't be accounted for, and this is our tax dollars. And so the first thing that they did is say, listen, first of all, we're going to all come back into the office. If you don't want to come back into the office, you can quit. If you can't find a way to get back here, you can quit. Y'all worked from home over the last 5 years. The party is up. The party is up. We talked about it. We said that we was creating a Department of Government agency before we even got elected into the federal government. We told you if we got elected, then we would bring people back into the office. You had ample time. You procrastinated. You voted for Kamala Harris. You did what you wanted to do. Well, guess what? Now you got to pay the piper. After they get that wave of people out that fumble the bag, the second thing that you do, and this happens throughout corporate America, and I always said that the federal government need to be looked at with the efficiency of regular, everyday corporate American businesses, because if you don't operate as a business, then that means that they're going to just spend recklessly, and then that's when you run up the national debt unnecessarily. The second wave is to offer buyouts. Now, Anton, why would they offer buyouts to over 2 million people? Well, I'll tell you why they offer buyouts to over 2 million people. Because they know and they anticipating at least 5 to 10%, hopefully in the 12 to 13% range, is going to take the buyout. The question that you have to ask yourself is, as a federal worker, do I take the buyout? In what circumstances does it actually justify me giving up my position, giving up my not a TSP, giving up my 403B? 403B is the equivalent of a TSP or a 401k for a private worker or for a government worker or for a military person, right? They just name it differently, but it all operates the same. Giving up your TSP, giving up your benefits. In what situation do you now have an excuse? Because you either got to go back into the office or you can take this buyout. In what circumstances do you want to take the buyout? We'll get there shortly. Let's look at it from a different angle from CNN's perspective, and then I'm going to deep dive a little bit more.
An offer or a threat? This morning, millions of federal workers are faced with a choice. Stay in their jobs with an uncertain future or leave the government, leave their jobs with a buyout.
You're not taking
from
the buyout,
the Trump administration. The White House made the offer in an abrupt email to employees with the subject line, a fork in the road. And the clock is ticking. Federal workers have just over a week to decide if they stay. The administration is making clear their job still might not be there for long. It's part of Trump's push to dramatically shrink the size of government. One federal employee, though, tells CNN that people are stunned, pissed, baffled, and a bit scared.
Somebody in the chat says, nobody I know is taking that dumb A buyout. Well, let's talk about it for a second. How do you know you're not going to get laid off? How do you know that your job, because they're just going to shift people around to the positions that they need them in once they see natural attrition, once people start taking buyouts. It happens in the auto industry when they want certain workers to retire. They offer buyouts and incentivize people for early retirement and so on and so forth. Here's the dilemma, okay? And I'm not saying that y'all positions are going to be cut. You're going to have to make it on an individual basis. But how do you know that your job is not going to be cut? How do you know that you're not going to get laid off? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Because everybody's circumstance is not the same. right? There's over 2 million federal employees. All branches of government, all federal employee jobs are not created equal. You can't blanket statement say, well, ain't nobody taking that. How do you know it's not going to be a good situation or if it's going to turn into a bad situation for you? Because they are going to go through with a fine-tooth comb and find out where all of the inefficiencies are, who's doing what, and let's continue.
This is also only part of the latest episode of Donald Trump chaos. There's still mass confusion about what programs are really being impacted by President Trump's plan to freeze federal aid. Programs like Head Start, Meals on Wheels, agricultural programs, low-income housing assistance, all in limbo. For now, that freeze, though, is frozen. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the White House move to halt all of these grants and loans. CNN's Elena Treen following all of this. John said it right, an avalanche of developments today. What is the very latest that you're learning, Elena?
That's right. I do want to start with what you first mentioned, Kate.
I'm going to read your super chat, Farmer.
Sent to all 2 million federal workers last night, offering them a buyout, as you mentioned, I think you put it perfectly, with an uncertain future. They can quit their jobs and be paid through September 30th or stick around and figure out whether or not they will be forced to.
You can quit your job. Listen. This is not something to take lightly. I know that y'all already done made y'all mind up and saying, I ain't taking that buyout. Think about it. I'm going to play it again for the people in the back. I'm going to let you hear it.
I think you put it perfectly, with an uncertain future. They can quit their jobs and be paid through September 30th or.
You can quit your job and be paid through September 30th. That changes things a little bit, don't it? The game is different all of a sudden, right? Because now you saying, wait a minute, I might be laid off and get that little $400 a week check from unemployment insurance, or I could get paid for chilling and I can go and do something else through September 30th by getting a buyout. Don't look too bad now. Do it. More knowledge than Sabrina. It look a little different. Look at that. Elena, now you thinking. Wait a minute. No. Y'all, first y'all was talking about it's dumb and all of this stuff because you didn't read the fine print. Now everybody want to sit there and say, wait a minute. Clutching my pearls. I might want to think about this a little bit differently. Now people understand why I didn't quit corporate America. I said, you know what? I'm going to wait and see what the package is. I'm going to wait and see what they give me. Because I was already going to be doing what I'm going to do anyway. So why wouldn't I take the free money? Absolutely, I'm going to take the money. Because I'm already busy doing stuff that I had already prepared myself for not being in corporate America 2 years ago. They just gave me a bunch of free money. It changes things, don't it?
Stick around and figure out whether or not they will be forced to resign. Now, this is just the latest stunning move we've seen by the Trump White House, really to reshape the federal workforce.
What up, Jerry?
In Donald Trump's image. Now, one thing to be clear on, as I said, this was sent to all 2 million federal workers, but there are some exemptions, I'm told, by a spokesperson from the Office of Personnel Management, which sent this out. These are the exceptions that they noted that would not be included in this buyout. It includes
Super Bowl, you late, bro. We already had that conversation. We already covered it in segment 1. Y'all gonna have to start being on time to the Millionaire Morning Show. If you want me to cover your subject, it's a possibility that I already did it. You're gonna have to go back and rewatch the show, or you're gonna have to rewind a live stream and watch that segment of the show. Y'all be late. You don't have to put it in the chat 8 times. The chat is looking at you crazy because they were all here on time looking at me cover that segment of the show. The chat looking at you crazy because you putting it in there 8 times and we done already covered it, but you late and you trying to make it seem like you was here on time, but we already know that you didn't do your homework and that's the reason why you was late. You showing yourself.
workers, military workers, immigration officials, certain national security roles, and any other roles that these different agencies
Shout out to
deem
Lions
as
Super Bowl.
being necessary. Now, another thing I'm told is that the Trump administration is trying to frame this buyout as being an off-ramp for people who do not want to return to work full-time. We know that last week we saw Donald Trump issue a directive that said all people who have flexible schedules, remote schedules, have to come back to work full-time. They're saying this could be a good option for that. But again, this is being offered widespread throughout the government. I do want to read for you just some of what was in that email that was sent to all of these employees last night. It said, quote, "At this time, we cannot give you full assurance regarding the certainty of your position or agency, but should your position be eliminated, you will be treated with dignity and will be afforded the protections in place for such positions." Now, as you mentioned, Kate, as well, workers have until February 6th, which is just a week from tomorrow, to decide whether or not they want to opt for this type of buyout. Now, one other thing as well that's just, can't be lost in this is Elon Musk's involvement. We are told that Musk had long been wanting to do this, and he was very involved in the crafting of this effort. And the subject line that came on that email that was sent to all of these employees last night was a fork in the road, very reminiscent of an email we know he sent to Twitter employees in 2022 before we saw a lot of the firings that happened there. So again, a massive change to the federal workforce. We'll have to see how many people end up actually taking this and what could happen thereafter.
Can I ask you about the Musk mirroring the email to Twitter employees to all federal workers?
Yeah, a fork in the road.
A fork in the road.
That was, I mean, can you imagine if you're a federal worker and that suddenly shows up in your inbox? Clearly, it's a symptom of his desire to get these government reforms going very quickly, and I guess you could say it's a pretty innovative thing to bring in the corporate solution on manpower and reducing manpower here. But yesterday was an interesting data point on this because it showed people just how important government is in their lives in many ways, in ways we don't think about. If suddenly, thousands of government employees start taking these buyouts and there's no replacements, that could cause chaos. I mean, it's possible Trump...
No, that's not how it works. So what happens is when these buyouts happen, they start to reposition people that are in the federal government that may or may not be doing something that is efficient or inefficient, or maybe they phasing out their division or stuff like that. And so what happens is they then move those employees, depending on where their fit is, they move them into other positions where there's natural attrition or where people took a buyout, right? And then you got to take in all of the other factors. There are other factors that go into this conversation. For example, there may be older people that was already looking to retire within the next year or so or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they can take that early retirement package, or they can get that money. Or it may be people that already got another job offer, or some people are already running a business and they don't want to go back into the office. And so instead of them going back into the office, they focus 100% on a business that's already profitable, but they still getting paid even though they don't have to do anything. It's people that then have the skill set to go and find another job. But the question that you have to ask yourself, and the reason why I'm not giving a blanket recommendation, is because you have to figure out what makes sense in this on an individual basis. Can you bet on yourself? Okay, some of y'all, you might have just got in there because your homegirl got you in there and you don't really got the skill set and you don't have the education. You didn't take advantage of the ability to go back to school and have it paid for by the federal government according to your benefits package. You just was sitting chilling all day long, and instead of you working on becoming a better version of yourself and getting that school, getting that education, taking advantage of your benefits, networking effectively, now if you take the buyout or you just sit there, you might be stuck between a rock and a hard place and can't find nothing. Some people don't necessarily need it. And their man, some women, for example, may be married and they man don't necessarily want all that stress on them. And so what they'll do is say, honey, take the buyout. I want you to focus on finding your purpose or whatever, so on and so forth. And so some people are using the extra income. It's just that. It's extra. It's not needed. You know what? We don't want to move. We don't want to do this. We straight. And so every single individual situation is different. Every situation is different. For me, anytime somebody is offering me a severance package or a buyout, I'm always betting on me because I know me. I'm a hustler. I go get it. I can find another job just like that. I have a skill set and a resume that would allow for me to be able to take advantage of this and get that at the same time. You know, for me, I'm betting on myself. For other people, you're going to have to be very, very careful. Take the whole week to figure it out, weigh every option, put some testers out there, update your resume, update your LinkedIn because it's a competitive job market depending on what segment you in, what sector that you in. Some people may be a government worker in the technology sector. Some people may be a government worker in Social Security. I don't know. But the point is that you're going to have to figure it out individually, but don't ignore it because it's not a bad package. To get paid for the next 9 months and then to figure it out, if you can't find another job in 9 months, then you wasn't a good employee in the first place. So that's what's happening in the federal government. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right. Wolfie in the building says critical mission positions are exempt. I'm in one. I feel you. It don't mean that you don't want to evaluate it. Sometimes it's not worth it to take the buyout. Sometimes your position, you plan on being there for the next 3 or 4 years. It's not beneficial for you to take the buyout. You might look at the job market and say, that's not good for me. It may not be worth it. Shout out to you, Wolfie. I appreciate you. Oh, Farmer DA's decided to come in. Okay, I got you, Farmer. Farmer says Anton and came up with a studio and everything. That Heritage Foundation Turning Point check must be nice. Well, I hate to disappoint you, Farmer, but I have to. I don't work for anybody except for me. I don't know nothing about no Heritage Foundation. I've never been invited into the Turning Point. I don't get a check. I'm 100% self-funded. I invest in myself. See, if you was a bag chaser, you would know that. More importantly, this is the same studio that we've had over the last 3 years. We just revamped it. And in order for me to make sure that I get the proper tax write-offs, I'd rather reinvest in my business than give it over to the federal government. That's why we did that towards the end of the year, because we had to get rid of an extra $100,000. Somebody give me a round of applause. Appreciate you, though. Appreciate you. How come every time somebody is doing something great, other people automatically assume that you getting a check from somebody else? No, we just chasers. And as a matter of fact, the video that I'm releasing this weekend is a transparency video inside of the Patreon showing y'all exactly what I made last year, what my 1099s were, what's going in my bank account, what my brokerage account looks like. I am 100% transparent with the people. I would love for you to see where my money comes from. All right? The hate do be real, don't it? You can't have your own individual thought. You can't build your own studio from scratch with your own hands without some help from some kind of bigger entity. Aw, they don't want you to compete with the big boys without having to need the big boys. Aw, don't worry about it. We're going to get there. Let me go ahead and change the color of this because y'all feeling some type of way. There we go. Y'all in y'all femininity, so I'm going to give y'all a light purple pink. For everybody in their femininity, we're going to give you a light purple pink. Shout out to Farmer DA. Farmer DA says, I'm not trusting anyone with a history of not paying employees to pay my severance, and my job will be back in 4 years. Okay, you got it. Happy Girl in the building says, AD, you can get your White House press pass podcast. I'm already on that. Don't worry about it. We get it. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We already on that. Tone or Tonio says, what about USPS? I don't know. What about them? Did I miss the prayer? You did. You was late. We did pray. Shout out to everybody telling on themselves for being late. See, usually when you come to class late, you just try to sneak in. Hey, what they do? You ask the people, hey, everything good? Did we miss the prayer? Let me rewind and find out what's going on. I could tell, you know what? I could tell a lot of y'all were not smart students. Y'all were the ones that came into class and automatically got detention. I could tell y'all were not Ferris Bueller 80s movies watchers. Bueller? Was that before your time? Y'all never watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Y'all did not study Ferris Bueller and his hating sister that tried to get him in trouble. Y'all are the ones that say, hey, Teach, did you already do the prayer? You supposed to just slide in. Once the teacher turned his back to start writing on the chalkboard, you slide in. You say, hey, everything good? What did I miss? You take good notes for me? Hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Y'all was the ones that was getting detention. Don't get detention. Don't get detention. Free Thinker 513 says, I've taken buyouts from 2 different companies and always found a new gig within 2 months. See, you betting on yourself, 513. You betting on yourself. High Tolerance says, Donald J says, I can show you better than I can tell you. Drainer, since the YouTube is straight tripping. I like that. AR Smitty says, ooh, they so sensitive. What happened to her? Rebecca, what up to Rebecca? Looking good as usual, says Sharp Suit, looking elevated. I would love to see you on Patrick Bet David. I actually took a tour of Patrick Bet David. I went to their offices before. Shout out to Rebecca. Shout out to everybody that's holding me down. Abe the Hunter says, I was 8 minutes late though. When you're 8 minutes late, if you're on time, I taught this to my daughter very early in her life. On time is late. 8 minutes late is a fireable offense. You're not on time unless you're 15 minutes early at least. You're not on time unless you're 15 minutes early at least. If you come in talking about I was 8 minutes late, then that means that is a reprehensible offense. You got to be on time, big dog. You know better than that. You know better than that. We're going to teach y'all. I'm going to teach y'all how to be stars. I'm going to teach you how to be a star employee. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Also, with the Trump administration, he's vowing to eliminate income taxes. Now, I haven't even watched this video yet. I said I have to save this to have a conversation with the people. I know y'all, a lot of y'all femininity now, so we're going to get back to the regular colors. I said I got to save this because I got to look at these details. I don't really care about the federal employees getting their buyouts. I don't care about that. I don't care about Tiffany Henyard getting into fights. You start talking about no income taxes? No income taxes? I'm sorry, what'd you say? No what? You vowed to do no who? Because see, when he said no taxes on tips, I said that's good for the federal workers. When he said no taxes on tips, I said that's awesome for the federal. Listen, for the people that do tip jobs, that's awesome. They said that the federal employees got to come back in. You know what? Y'all need to do your job. 2 million people getting buyouts. You know what? Y'all going to have to figure it out. Y'all going to have to figure it out. No, wait, vowing to get rid of income? No, vowing to get rid of what? Listen, of all the issues during the presidential election, you had me at hello. If the Democrat, let me tell you something. I love MAGA. I love making America great again. But I will tell you this, and I will tell you twice. If the Democrats had said, you know what? We promised, they could have lied to me. We promised to work on getting rid of income taxes. I'm running to the polls. You know what? I'm a conservative at heart, but right now I'm a Democrat. If the Democrats had lied to me and said, we gonna work on getting rid of income taxes and we gonna have to figure out how to generate revenue for the United States of America, I wouldn't even have checked the article. I would have been on your team. That is real solutions for the American people. I would have immediately been on your team. But it takes a businessman to start looking at it from a business perspective. And now we got to evaluate what the details are. We got to look at the details. The devil's in the details. They could have told me anything. I would have been reproductive rights for women. No, we got to protect our women. Your body, I would have been your body, your choice. Y'all could have used any bathroom that you wanted. Any bathroom. Listen, if you want to go in the men's bathroom, the women's bathroom, you can play in any sport you want to play, man, woman, child. Target can put G-strings out there. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, I'm all for it. I would have been a Roland Martin fan. I would have been rocking with Al Sharpton. I might have even voted for a woman to be the president of the United States of America. I would have been conflicted. We all got a price. We all got... We all got something that we need to have a conversation. You know what, honey? I like Byron Donalds. I like Vivek. I love J.D. Vance, but you know what this is? No income tax. No income tax. What you talking about? We got a decision to make. Now we got a race. Wouldn't even have been a question. Now we got a race. Y'all wouldn't have got swept in every single swing state. You might not have lost the popular vote as bad. None of that stuff. But now we got a race. What? Y'all keep talking about forgiving students. I don't care nothing about no student loans. Income tax. Now we got a problem. Now we got a conversation to have. Anyway. Vowing to scrap income taxes, we got to see what this is about, y'all. Of all of the articles that we do today, we got to have this conversation. Let's get to it.
Besant is also sounding the alarm on what he calls an impending economic calamity. He is urging lawmakers to extend key provisions of the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The stakes, of course, couldn't be higher. Millions of jobs, billions in lost wages could be lost if the tax cuts expire in December. And Republicans are mobilizing. Speaking at the GOP retreat in Florida, President Trump doubled down on his message, cut taxes for the American people. He even floated the idea of abolishing the federal income tax altogether.
You know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States.
That is 100%
The income
fact.
tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens.
The president says that he plans
100% agree. There was a time in history where we focused more on everybody else paying to do business inside of the United States of America because we were the greatest nation in the world. All roads lead through America. In order to do business over here, you're going to have to pay your fair share. Then we turned into taxing American citizens to death. And now they talking about rich people need to pay their fair share, even though we pay the majority of the taxes, even though y'all pay the majority of the taxes. That is a fact. Y'all gonna have to study our history. There was a time where these income taxes that we got going on right now, it wasn't a thing. Everybody else had to pay to do business with us. We didn't have to pay to do business with ourselves. We didn't have to trade in our time for money the way that we have to do now. And the nation at that time was the richest that it had ever been. That is 100% truth.
to impose tariffs on a list of imports: steel, aluminum, copper, computer chips, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, all to boost domestic production. This is a very aggressive economic agenda, but it's also really exciting also. Let's just keep with the tariffs for a moment, since that's where we ended. This is a strategy, Brian, that he tried previously. They weren't able to see it through in the last administration. It's one that takes time. He's going back to do it again.
Well, loves tariffs. Tariffs, I think, is his favorite word in the dictionary, he said. Not surprising that he's talking about doing a universal tariff. But I love Kevin Hassett. I think he's my favorite economic guy in the administration, the happy warrior. And he makes such a good point. He says, when these guys talk about tariffs, they ignore all the other policies that we want to do, just like they did in the first Trump term. And if you think back to that term, we got some tariffs, but we got all sorts of supply side pro-growth policies. And that's exactly what the president is talking about now. I mean, folks, he just said, let's eliminate the income tax. Now, I don't know if that's going to get done, but the fact that he's even talking that way tells me this is a guy who does not want to punish work. And that's the biggest thing for me.
Dagan, what about the federal freeze? That's also huge news today, and Schumer pushing back.
It is big news, and particularly digging into the grant issue. But to stay on the tariff thing, Kenny, so let's connect all the big players in this and what they're saying. Kevin Hassett on Kudlow yesterday said tariffs are not just a weapon, but part of a supply side strategy as part of a tax bill. And Larry Kudlow himself has talked about, let's think about a 10% across the board tariff. We have $5 trillion in imports. And so you're talking about $500 billion to finance tax cuts here. So you are taxing foreign firms, your foreign manufacturers, and then giving individuals, you, and corporations here a tax cut potentially. And then there's the Financial Times article about Scott Bessent saying something that Scott Bessent is pushing for new universal tariffs on U.S. imports starting at 2.5%. This is taking shape. The biggest problem is the Republicans in the House. They control the purse strings. They will be writing this tax reform bill, and there are 48 of them who didn't show up at Doral. What in the hell is wrong with y'all?
Well, speaking of taxes, the agenda is very aggressive. He's already talking about bringing the corporate tax rate down, Taylor, not taxing Social Security, overtime, and tips. He wants to extend the 2017 tax cuts, but the CBO says if you do that, it's going to add $4 trillion over a decade to the deficit. So that's a problem. He says it might be offset by the tariffs. What do you think?
You know me. If I'm looking at the bond market, all I can think about is the debt and the deficit and how we tackle this. So the bond vigilantes don't come out and scream at us. So I love that you brought up the deficit. But I think, Jackie, as we've been talking about on this show, those tax cuts have to be #1 priority because that was the mandate from the voters. So I think you have to get that done and find revenue elsewhere. Is that revenue 2.5%, as Dagan mentioned, what Scott Bessent laid out? What's interesting about that in terms of a revenue source is, to me, markets like certainty. So if you tell me 10% tariff, if I'm a company like GM, I can handle that. If you tell me that every month it's going up by 2.5%, I have a hard time planning around that because how do I figure out, do I buy the goods now? What if the tariffs go up? Is it a negotiating tool? Is it going up? And so Scott Bessent is the smartest person in the room, do not get me wrong, but some of that makes me nervous when you think about just those monthly increments.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up the market and the reaction to it, Kenny. That's where I want to bring you in. Obviously, we had a rough day yesterday. We're dealing with that AI story. That's part of the issue. But the markets have been up since Trump has come into office. Even though we started the year on a little bit of a down note, tells me that investors are very optimistic about this.
I think they're very optimistic, and I hear it when I'm talking to people. I'm very optimistic about what the future holds and what all these policy holds. And actually, this whole idea about eliminating the income tax or redefining it and coming in with, kind of a 10% tariff tax and giving an income tax break to Americans encourages them to work more, in my opinion, encourages them then to spend more, in my opinion. So then you end up having a stronger and better economy. I think the market likes it. I think it's clear. I think yesterday's action in the market was a separate issue.
Yeah.
Although we could say that the market needs to pull back a little bit because maybe it's a little bit stretched, and that's fine. But yesterday's action, I think, was completely.
I don't think that we will be in a position to ever really get rid of income taxes in this administration, maybe not even in my lifetime. I think that there will be significant tax cuts to people who are productive and who work their butts off, and it is going to be extended over to every American. I think that so many different factors have to play out in order for this to be successful. The first factor that has to play out in order for this to be successful, the very first thing, and this is at every single company, and we need it to be operating the federal government and local governments the same way. The first thing is you have to get rid of the waste. The reason why we are taxed to death is because we are not managing the resources that the federal government is already having. This is why you see the buyouts. They're reducing the amount of money that the federal government has to put out to these foreign countries, wars, federal employees. The market should be able to sustain itself through private business with minimal effort and minimal interruption. We're cutting the red tape. We allow for people to be able to drill. We're starting to pull the oil back out of our own country. The market should be able to sustain itself. And then anybody that wants to do business with the United States of America should be paying their fair share instead of us subsidizing other countries taking advantage of us. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to cut the waste. That's what the Department of Government Efficiency is for. What they've already started to do is identify different things. You're going to see that in the next segment where Trump's new press secretary goes in and tell you what they're cutting and what they're going to continue to fund right now. But think about this for a second. The very fact that they're having this conversation is a plus. because they have to figure it out. And they're having this conversation within 8-9 days of already taking office. I got to give this administration an A+. I've never seen this before in my entire life. I don't think that income taxes are going away completely. Maybe not even in my lifetime. But I would love to see it go down. I would love to see us operate more efficiently. I would love to see less government interference in our lives. And I would also love to see us rein in spending and have more transparency on what these previous administrations were doing and for us to drain the swamp. All right, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. Nice for Everything says, I appreciate you with the super sticker. Thank you, Nice for Everything. Lord Bison in the building says, greetings, Anton from Victoria, Canada. Retired U.S. Navy and entrepreneur, dual citizenship, USA, Canada. Great talking points, young brother. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to you. Dion, and I'm going to also say this. We got so much waste. All of these social services, all of these people on Section 8, do y'all realize how much we subsidize other people's livings? Y'all go to work every day to make sure that other people can take advantage of the system. Food stamps, permanently for the rest of your life, Section 8 housing, prison industrial complex, foreign aid, NATO, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Get rid of all of that crap. Everything gotta go, and we're gonna incentivize companies to come inside the United States of America, create more businesses, and to be able to thrive, and then that's where we let the economy be able to sustain itself. We pay so much garbage. Think about it on a local level. Over in Chicago, and we covered this all last year, Chicago was trying to raise property taxes. Why? So that they continue to fund the illegal migrant crisis. So they can make up for the money that they spent. They had a $1 billion deficit. Chicago has not operated in the green in years, probably well over a decade. But they was able to find money to give to the migrant crisis, right? My biggest pitch is, I'm not interested. Listen, I don't want nothing from you. I don't need the government to do anything for me except for maintain civility when it comes to safety and protection, protect the United States of America, make sure that we got police officers on the street, and make sure our infrastructure is good. The rest of it, I got it. I can handle myself. The rest of it, I got it. I can handle it myself. I don't need no government subsidies. I can eat what I kill. I don't need no help. I don't need no extra bonuses. I don't need you to send me no stimulus check. I'm good on all of that. Just stay out of my pocket. Stay out of my way. Mind your business as long as I'm abiding by the laws and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And don't overtax me. I don't need nothing from you. I don't want your help. I don't want your assistance. Just get your hand out of my pocket. I don't want to give no money to nobody that I'm not giving out of my own pocket. I will give my own money away. I don't need you to take my money and then figure out where you want it to be designated towards. That's it. I want the basics. Strip it down to the basics. I want basic government services. Make sure our water is clean. Make sure we have decent infrastructure. Schools, safety. That's it. Everything else, you can get rid of it. I don't care nothing about it. Everything else, get rid of it, bro. So that's my stance on everything. I don't need your hands in everything I got going on in my life. Shout out to Dion. I appreciate you. Trump. I wish Trump would get rid of income taxes. I'm building a shrine in my house. You gonna build a Trump shrine? Rest in peace, Uncle Sam, 1913 to 2025. And we just born into it, so we think that this is normal. You think it's normal when you get your paycheck for the government to get its cut. That's highway robbery. It's worse than a mob. 62 Steve says, what would you rather have? No income taxes or no property taxes? No income taxes. No income taxes all day long. No income taxes. Chris Cunningham says, midterms looking so bullish. Orlando Williams Jr. says, that's what he meant by make America great again. Facts. Eric Wolf Harris says, imagine living in Florida, no state tax, no federal tax. I'll take category 5 with a little food, with a little flood. Chris Cunningham says, we are taxed to death because we never complain as a country. That's what Boston Tea Party was about. After World War II, they went crazy with the taxes. Yep. My daughter was born last night. Hey, let me get a round of applause for the new children, for the new bag chasers and the new children. Congratulations, my friend. It's going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. 100%. Just make sure that you don't start talking to boys too early. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's continue on with the show. Trump's press secretary, the new press secretary, was in the building, and she was cooking. All right? She also provided a lot of clarification on what programs were no longer going to be funded, because there's a lot of misinformation going on all of these social media sites. I seen a guy admit to lying on the Trump administration about canceling child support and or for the man to actually be able to get the taxes and the tax returns if he is the one that paid child support. You had guys everywhere going crazy, rejoicing, running around, acting like Trump actually said it. It is so much misinformation, okay? So what we did was we wanted to go straight to the source. We wanted to go straight to the source. We want to hear from the press secretary on behalf of the president of what exactly is happening and what funding is getting cut and what are the expectations for this new administration now that we now have a real president in office. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Caroline, a question that we've asked your predecessors of both parties in this job. When you're up here in this briefing room speaking to the American public, do you view yourself and your role as speaking on, advocating on behalf of the president or providing the unvarnished truth that is, not to lie, not to obfuscate to the American people?
I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day. I commit to speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. That is my job. And I will say it's very easy to speak truth from this podium when you have a president who is implementing policies that are wildly popular with the American people, and that's exactly what this administration is doing. It's correcting the lies and the wrongs of the past 4 years, many of the lies that have been told to your faces in this very briefing room. I will not do that. But since you brought up Truth Seek, I would like to point out, while I vowed to provide the truth from this podium, we ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House. So yes, I will hold myself to the truth, and I expect everyone in this room to do the same.
Are we already cooking or are we already cooking? She said, listen, we going to call you out and you have full authority to be able to call. Is that why Jim Acosta retired yesterday from CNN? Jim Acosta was getting demoted and then he rage quit on. Oh, Jim Acosta on CNN. He was the one that actually got his press pass revoked when Trump was in office the first time. And then he rage quit just yesterday live on CNN and said that he was going to go over to Substack and do his own thing. Let's continue.
I just had a substantive question. Yesterday, the White House Office of Management and Budget directed across the board freeze, with some exceptions for individual assistance, we understand, to federal grants. It's caused a lot of confusion around the country among Head Start providers, among providers services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the portal. Could you help us clear up some of the confusion, give some certainty to folks, and also is that uncertainty, how does that uncertainty service the president's voters?
Well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building. So let me provide the certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make...
So, for everybody that's out there lying and saying that, oh my God, my Social Security check not going to come, Medicare is paused, food assistance, Section 8. Yes, we still subsidizing your raggedy lifestyle. And that's not for everybody, because I know that it's a lot of people that actually paid into Social Security, and so they deserve their paycheck, even though we're operating a Ponzi scheme, because the people today are basically funding the people of yesterday. And that's just the way that it go. We taking care of, we robbing people, that we getting robbed in order to make sure that everybody else is taken care of. All right? So that's number one. Number one is they're very, very clear in that nothing is being paused on taking care of, outside of Social Security and some of these other things that people deserve. Your Medicare, your Medicaid, your Section 8 housing, your food stamps, all of that stuff, you still gonna get your check. You still gonna be able to pay your landlord. You still gonna be able to keep your houses with your roaches in it. All right? Okay? Very clear, straight to the point. Not all of this lying and finessing and telling people what they want to hear, like the last press secretary. What was her name? Karine Jean-Pierre? Not like the Biden administration. It's not a blanket pause on everything. But she then goes on to tell you what they will be pausing as far as funding.
Make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on. That's why he has launched DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So what does this pause mean? It means no more funding for illegal DEI programs.
If you are a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and you was getting your funding just because you was a black person that was out protesting on the street for Black Lives Matters, the party is over.
It means no more funding for the Green New scam that has...
If you were a part of the Green New scam, which they then rebranded as the Green New Deal, and you a tree hugger, the party is over.
That cost American taxpayers tens of billions of dollars. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy. And
if you are a person that thought that we was going to continue to fund your transition in prison on the behalf of the federal government, like Kamala Harris was advocating for during the presidential election, we not funding transgenderism and diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore. Oh, you still get your Medicare and Medicaid. You still get your Social Security check. You can still get your food stamps. We not funding your transitions. I'm not really sure where we disagree at. We're not funding transgenderism. You want to know more what else they're not going to fund? She'll give you some more examples.
Agencies, no more funding for Green New Deal social engineering policies. Again, people who are receiving individual assistance, you will continue to receive that. And President Trump is looking out for you by issuing this pause because he is being good steward of your taxpayer dollars.
Thanks, Caroline.
Sure.
How long
I don't
is this
really understand
pause
what the
going
disagreement
to last,
is.
and how is the Trump administration recommending that organizations that rely on federal funding make payroll, pay their rent in the meantime?
It is a temporary pause, and the Office of Management and Budget is reviewing the federal funding that has been going out the door. Again, not for individual assistance, but for all of these other programs that I mentioned. I also spoke with the incoming director of OMB this morning, and he told me to tell all of you that the line to his office is open for other federal government agencies across the board, and if they feel that programs are necessary and in line with the president's agenda, then the Office of Management and Budget will review those policies. I think this is a very responsible measure. Again, the past 4 years, we've seen the Biden administration spend money like drunken sailors. It's a big reason we've had an inflation crisis in this country, and it's incumbent upon this administration to make sure, again, that every penny is being accounted for honestly.
Why impose this pause with so little notice? Why not give organizations more time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding,
There
at
was-
least for a period of time.
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is...
These countries gonna have to come up with their own bag. We not gonna continue to fund y'all degeneracy. We not gonna continue to fund y'all genocides. We not gonna continue to fund y'all wars. We not gonna continue to give y'all money. We not giving American taxpayers. We close. The Office of Administration for the United States of American Taxpayers continuing to give money away and throw it in the trash. It's over. It's closed. It's over. You know what I was thinking about? Hold on, let me pause for a minute. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about all of the people that were out here telling y'all and trying to give y'all a game on how to get government contracts. I wonder how they're going to be affected. Some people that's out here getting the bag, they you know, all of the ones that was telling y'all, hey, y'all, listen, I could teach y'all how to get government contracts because Biden is giving away money like it's no tomorrow. I wonder how they going to be affected. Remember when the hustle was selling y'all on the idea of getting into real estate and getting hard money loans so you could be a flipper? Yeah, that didn't go so well for you, did you? Remember when the hustle was telling y'all that y'all need to go and buy your own truck or go get box trucks so you could take advantage of what was going on in the economy? Yeah, that didn't work. Anytime people are not giving you long-term advice, basically that allows for you to be able to benefit 10 years from now, it's going to be a rough go for you. It's going to be a rough go for you. I wonder how people are going to be affected with that. Let's continue.
Taking into consideration how hard the American people are working. And their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOGE and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOGE and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza.
They was just throwing around money like it wasn't no tomorrow. If you expect for me to believe that it's not people behind this that's just getting filthy rich off the Biden administration, y'all really, honest to God, really need to go in your prayer closet and figure it out. 50 M's, 50. When I first heard that, I said, wait. Down there in Houston and Atlanta, they down there busting it down for a real one, and they giving 2-for-1 diseases. You can get herpes and chlamydia and one good piece of boxylitis. You can get both herpes and chlamydia right on down there in Houston. Right on down there. Go on down there and see. 1, 2, 3. You want 2, 3, 2, 3. 1. Oh, sold. For $40, you get herpes and chlamydia, and you get to get her pregnant, and the kid gonna come out half blind because they was born with herpes in their eyes. And we're sending $50 million out the door, and y'all was complaining about the Department of Government Efficiency doing their job because they going through with a fine-tooth comb and trying to fill out who is out here robbing us. If you're telling us that we got to continue to fund transgenderism, that's why your taxes are so high, because you giving $50 million for them to send some condoms to Gaza. Y'all should be absolutely you know why you should be mad at the Biden administration? You should be mad at the Biden administration because for the same reason that you would be mad at your cousin if they borrow $50 from you, but then they go out there and party and they keep telling you they ain't got your money. What? You were struggling to pay your bills last month. You don't even have insurance. And you got to make up a fake insurance tag in order to go and renew your tags. But you made sure that you gave them $150, $200 because they said they needed it for an emergency. And then when they got paid next week, when they said that they was going to pay you back, you never heard from them. We be mad in the mug when people rob us that's right next to us for $50 or $100. Y'all paying $30,000, $40,000 in taxes, and that ain't even including property taxes, bag tax, sales tax, the black tax. You know what the black tax is. The black tax is when you become successful, but most of the other people inside of your family is dusty, and now they feel the need to be able to pull on you in order to make sure that they taken care of because you're the only one that did the right thing and you wasn't busting it down for a real one. And so now you got to take care of everybody else's bad habits inside of the family. We taxed. I'm taxed to death. I'm out taxed. I'm overly taxed. I don't have no more for you, Willis. You're going to have to get it out the mud like everybody else, or you're going to have to go and live with the migrants. We be mad at the person that's next to us for $200, $300, but you're going to let Biden administration rob y'all and tell you that you ain't paying your fair share? You know how much you paid in taxes in your lifetime all the way up to this point? If you're 40, 50 years old, it's a strong possibility that you done probably paid almost $1 million in taxes. $1 million. You know what I could do with $1 million? You know what Box is going for? Cheap. And you giving $50 million for condoms in Gaza. You don't even know how to spell Gaza. G-A-S-A. Point to Gaza on the map. Point to Gaza on the map. You don't even know where it is. Right there. You can't even find your way home without using the Waze, Google Maps, or Apple Maps. But you giving money over there to Gaza. And y'all cool with it. You was going to vote for that. I vote to take care of the people over in Gaza. I want my taxpayers to be used, my tax dollars to be used good. You don't even know where it is on the map. Can't spell Gaza. Don't even know what a person from Gaza look like. If a person from Gaza taps you on your shoulder today, you will say, you must be Mexican. What is a Gazian? What does a Gazian look like? Somebody tell me. I'm a C student. I need to know, what does a Gazian look like? I want to know what a Gazian looks like because I want to know where my taxpayer dollars was going during this last administration. Who from Gaza? What did the Gaza girls look like? Because I feel like I'm owed some reparations from Gaza. I feel like I'm owed some reparations from Gaza. That's my take on it. But you know me, I'm a C student, so I don't know no better. Let's continue.
That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
One, on the freeze in federal funding, who advised the president on the legality of telling government agencies that they don't have to spend money that was already appropriated by Congress?
Well, as the OMB memo states, this is certainly within the confines of the law. So White House counsel's office believes that this is within the president's power to do it, and therefore he's doing it.
Okay, so they disagree with lawmakers who say that they don't have the power to freeze this funding.
Again, I would point you to the language in the memo that clearly states this is within the law.
And on what happened on Friday night, the administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired. I think only 2 were left at DHS and the DOJ. And then yesterday we saw several prosecutors, I believe 12, fired from the Justice Department who worked on the investigation.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Because look, I cook every single day. It ain't a day that y'all come to the Millionaire Morning Show where I don't put on my AD shirt and we cook. At the very least, I need y'all to hit a like for the algorithm. I need y'all to subscribe to the channel, and you need to send this into one friend. One friend. Every day, this is the best show on the internet. There is no show better than what we do. The production quality, A1. Studio, out of this world. Content, hitting. Everything is real-time improv, no pre-plan, no nonsense. We just have a good time and we put the medicine inside of the candy. If you are not recommending this to your friends, if you not telling Gam, I know you liberal, but it's a guy over here that's going to make you laugh, he going to make you cry, and he going to make you angry all at the same time because he know that you a liberal, then you need to make sure that you send this to Gam because ain't nobody doing it better than the Millionaire Morning Show, and that's a fact.
Investigations into the president. As you know, they are career prosecutors, therefore they are afforded civil service protections. How is the administration deciding which laws to follow and which ones to ignore?
So it is the belief of this White House and the White House counsel's office that the president was within his executive authority to do that. He is the executive of the executive branch, and therefore he has the power to fire anyone within the executive branch that he wishes to. There's also a case that went before the Supreme Court in 2020, Scala Law LLC versus the Customs, Bureau Protection. I would advise you to look at that case, and that's the legality that this White House was resting on.
So you're confident that if they bring lawsuits against you, those prosecutors who were fired, that they will succeed?
We working on them.
And did he personally direct this, given they worked on the classified documents investigation and the election interference investigation?
This was a memo that went out by the Presidential Personnel Office, and the president is the leader of this White House, so yes.
I do want to go to you first, Daniel Dale.
Shout out to her. I think that this is probably one of the best press secretaries that we've seen in a long time. She was citing case law. She was literally showing y'all where y'all tax dollars was going. And she also provided clarification on what was being cut and what was still being funded. Let me give her a round of applause. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. We got Stock Club this afternoon on the Patreon. Let's rock out. Wyatt B. 856 says, will America develop more millionaires if they get rid of taxes? Absolutely. 100%. Because the people that's hustling is already going to get it. They just going to take advantage of the system in order to continue to run up a bag and then provide y'all more jobs. The Pretty Nerd Time Machine. I like that name. What's going on? Happy to be a new supporter. Thank you for making politics easier to grasp. Officially locking in. I see you, baby. Yeah. Chris Cunningham says accountability is back. N-word. Accountability is back. I like that. I like that. A.R. Smitty goes on to say, we've come mighty long way from Karine Jean-Pierre, my friends. Don't Karine Jean-Pierre, didn't she have a girlfriend or something like that? Dion Levon says, I think that a good mainstream or a good alternative, if we could eliminate income taxes, would be to tax other countries' tariffs and set the federal income tax to 10% for all tax brackets. There does need to be a flat tax. High Tolerance goes on to say, as far as the taxes, what effect will this have on sports team owners leaning on public funding for these stadiums, projects, concessions, and entertainment taxes? That don't have anything to do with income taxes. That is negotiated between the sports teams and the locality by which they live in. So some people like, what's his name? A man that owned the Clippers. He funded his own stadium. So it's going to be a billionaire's game. If you can't afford to play the game, then get out. Yo, AD, my cousin called me cursing me out over her CCIS and food stamps being cut because of my president. I told her that that wasn't true and to stop listening to the trash room and other blogs for her political information. Why are they listening to the shade room? That's why they getting food stamps. Clay Display says, good morning, Anton. On Sunday church show, all we need is a half hour. Also saw the White House press conference yesterday. Thought about you, already on it, forever grateful for you all, for all that you do. Y'all want me to do a church service? I don't got no channel for that. I don't know how to do that. Biden administration was a lick. Shout out to you. Dion Levon says 50 M's for a region that doesn't practice premarital sex sounds like money laundering. Facts. High Tolerance goes on to say, let me change the mood in here. High Tolerance goes on to say that JoJo and Can were cutting up some weird science or Ferris Bueller-ish. As you said, the grown-ups are back in office. Bueller. Condom companies aren't making any money in America No one wears condoms, so they made a deal with the government to buy condoms and send them to Gaza. I believe that. The Black Taxes Facts family be trying to get you, and they be getting a lot of y'all. Shout out to Adrian. Adrian. What's up, big dog? And my girl, Jerry. Jerry is my online baby mama, y'all. Catherine did great for her first press conference. I would say she got an A+, but what do I know? I'm a C student. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of my people in the chat. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. You know we got to tackle the illegal migrants. They say that over 7. If I had $1 for every migrant that got removed, I'm going to read the Cash App shortly too. If I had $1 for every illegal migrant that got removed out of the United States of America, we'd be rich. This will be the Billionaire Morning Show. You know what I'm saying? They say over 7,000 migrants has been arrested and deported so far. That's a good number in 8 days. Let's check it out.
The Department of Homeland Security says more than 7,000 criminal migrants have now been arrested in President Trump's first week of office. As Rebecca Castor reports, the focus now turns to another major city.
In New York City, a massive federal operation is underway to get criminal illegal migrants off the streets as part of President Trump's nationwide crackdown.
We're tracking down the illegal alien criminals. We're detaining them, and we are throwing them the hell out of our country. We have no apologies, and we're moving forward very fast.
Leading the charge Tuesday is newly confirmed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She posted this video on X of ICE agents arresting a man who they say is a violent criminal with kidnapping and assault charges.
Right now, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. Anybody in the country illegally, they're on the table, but we're going to go after them in a prioritization that makes sense. The worst first.
Meanwhile, at the southern border, illegal crossings have plummeted, with multiple sources telling Fox News Border Patrol recorded less than 600 illegal crossings on Sunday. At the height of the border crisis in 2023, daily crossings were over 5,000.
It's the difference between night and day. I don't remember a day, in my 26-year career as a Border Patrol agent that we had that few apprehensions.
The ramped up enforcement making life more difficult for the cartels. Several Border Patrol agents were shot at in South Texas on Monday, with the cartel members seeking refuge on an island between the U.S. and Mexico.
Cartel is like, right now the cartel is suffering because the cartel is like, they're like your baby mamas. They like your baby mamas. I mean, they get a little angry. They deal with you. They might even give you some as long as that child support money continue to come in. Let me give myself a round of applause. The cartel, listen, when the money slow up, the box dry up. That's when you start getting, you know what I'm saying, angry text messages, stabs inside of y'all tires, want to pull up on you. Now they want to see who the new girl is in your life. When the money, listen. We ain't even got to talk about child support. I know it's a lot of layoffs right now. You know what happens when layoffs start coming? If they extend for too long, if you can't find a job, it's going to be breakups. The cartel is experiencing a breakup with the United States of America, courtesy of Biden. The American people said, nope, you know what? You've been bad. We're not going to continue to give you money. And you ain't even been keeping yourself up in the gym. Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, all of these places, they ain't even been keeping themselves up. They have not been keeping themselves up. And so when the money dry up, when you get laid off, and you got to start leaning on her a little bit more in order to cover her half of the rent. All right, you know what? I got to lean on. Listen, baby, I've been covering 100% of all of our bills. I need you to hold me down because I don't want to get a regular job. I got to get a job that's commensurate or better than what I had the last time. Okay, baby. But all the whole time, every single time that she got to give up her whole paycheck, she used to keep in her own paycheck, and she got to give you her paycheck, she get a little bit more disgruntled. Talk about you just a little bit more to her homegirl. She need a little bit more therapy. Huh? I'll pull up on her in the S550. I'll pull up on her in the S550. I see her at her service job. I give her a tip because I wasn't paying attention to her. I just gave her a little bit of a tip. Listen, I like your service. Thank you. Thank you for taking care of me. Give her a tip. She see this blue face. This don't tick though. This one don't tick. This one just keep going around. Oh yeah, everybody listen. Tips on me, everything is good. And she got to come home. Sowing seeds of discord. That's the cartel. The cartel, right now, they just a little bit upset. You ain't hear no gunshots. No bullets was being sold. No guns was being even carried over to the border when they was trafficking everybody. Now everybody getting gunshots thrown at them. That's your baby mama. The cartel is your baby mama. It's the same thing. It's the same. When the money dry up, it's a different comment. Now she gonna come home and talk about, oh, so you've been playing games all day. No, baby. I just started playing games just right before you came in because I've been working all day on trying to find a job. My job is trying to find a job. I mean, I don't like going out and working every. You know what? Now she thinking about kicking you out of her house. Y'all moved in together, but it's her house now. You know what? You in my house. So I got to come home and clean up. That's the beginning of the end right there. You better go find a job, big dog. Let's continue.
This is a Fox News alert. We are getting an exclusive firsthand look at the latest Trump administration deportation flight from El Paso, Texas to Ecuador.
A total of 80 migrants shipped out on the U.S. aboard a military plane. That one right there. And we're also taking a closer look at the career criminals arrested during the first day of ICE raids right here in New York City.
I mean, this is just incredible stuff. We have team coverage for you. Alexis McAdams is live in New York City. But first, we go to Brooke Taylor, who is in El Paso, Texas. Brooke, what can you tell us about these flights?
Well, first off, we got an exclusive look inside of this plane and exactly how this operation works. You have the military and Border Patrol. They are working together, showing really this
Hey, y'all
massive...
like that? My job is trying to find a job. My job is to try to find a job. Baby, hold on. I've been paying all the bills for 5 years. You already upset after 5 weeks? Her back now starting to hurt. Her nails don't look the same. Her wig is a little bit crooked every day. Her car more dirtier than usual because she can't go and get her mani-pedi. She got to start making financial sacrifices all of a sudden. Now we can't do the things that we used to do. We ain't going out to eat no more. We got to stay home and watch Netflix every day. Every day. First, Netflix and chill was a luxury. Now it's a requirement. And we got to cancel our subscriptions. And we got to watch YouTube. No premium. No YouTube premium. Now every time we got to get it at. Now you complaining in my chat, Anton, these ads is diabolical. So wait a minute. You mad at me because the ads is running midstream. Now you in my chat on After Hours talking about, no, man, don't take her back. Forget the family. Y'all was in there last night talking about forget the family. I could tell the dudes that was laid off. They was all in my chat last night getting mad at me because I said, yeah, man, we got to keep the family together. No, man, skip that home. No, man, Slimmy standing on business, man. You never take her back. You never take her back. No, stand on business. Stand on business. We don't take no woman back. I don't care. You embarrass me publicly. I don't care if another man is gonna be being in the house with my kid. I don't care. Don't never take her back. Are you laid off, big dog? Don't worry about it. You'll get back in line once you find another job.
Show of force.
Any regrets coming into the
Woo! Everything irritates you when you laid off, ain't it?
Shackled one by one, Fox gets an exclusive look as dozens of illegal migrants are escorted onto the C-17 military plane headed back to Ecuador.
Oh, man, this
Don't
is
come to the
crazy.
United States illegally. If you do come to the United States illegally, you will be removed.
43 females and 37 males packed onto the plane, including some family units. These
Everybody
are
going.
illegal migrants from Ecuador who broke the law when they crossed illegally into the U.S. Border Patrol says
Somebody
they were
says
already in
7,000 out of millions. It's only been 7 days. It's been 7 days. Ain't y'all glad that the most violent criminals are getting removed out of y'all neighborhoods? Y'all some ungrateful mother. Better watch your mouth.
Either found between ports of entry checkpoints, smuggling operations, or stash houses. While expedited removals aren't new, using military aircraft is.
This is the second largest plane the Air Force has. It's going to fit 80.
That's what y'all gonna get deported in. No first class flights, no carpet, no water, no peanuts, no chips, no windows, no nothing. You don't get nothing. You get on there, you got a 7 to 8 hour flight over to Ecuador. You see that? That's what you getting in on. And you got to stare at that American flag on your way out the door. That's what you getting out of here on. Ain't no more regular flights. No American Airlines, no Delta, no Southwest, no Spirit, no Frontier, no Emirates, no Turkish Airlines, no Air India. That's the worst airline that you could ever go on, Air India. Don't go on to Air India. No nothing. This is what you get. Metal floors, hard seats, no cushion, no water, no nothing. You going home. You, little Timmy, your son, and your wife. They all going. Do the baby need to put the baby in the one right next to her? Or you can hold her. Either one. Either one. If she fall out of your lap, nobody is stopping the plane to come and get you. Nobody can get up. No bathrooms. No sinks. No nothing. You, your friends, and everybody that came in here illegally, you going home on that device right there. Right there. You don't even need no mask. You don't need no shoelaces. You don't need nothing. Whatever you got, you taking with you on your way out the door. You going straight in the plane. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go home. Time to go home.
Illegal migrants. Border Patrol says the message is if you come into the United States illegally, you will be sent back to your home country.
It's all part of President Trump's plan
See
to
that?
utilize
See that? Hold on,
military
wait. I want y'all to
resources
see
and
it.
It's all
See that? Tall, short, skinny, fat, cargo pants, shorts, sandals, Nikes, hoodies, backpacks, Door to Explore backpacks. They all going. Women, children, men, we don't do respect to persons here in the United States of America. Everybody is equal. That's what women wanted in feminism.
part of President Trump's plan to utilize military resources and crack down on illegal immigration.
To be able to have people back in their home countries within 7 hours, a range of a plane like this.
7 hours.
2,700 miles. That puts you pretty much anywhere in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and anywhere in between.
You feel bad, Wolf?
And the flight crew told me that this was the same flight crew that brought that group of illegal migrants over the weekend to Colombia. The Colombia government initially turned that plane around. You know what happens next. President Trump stepped in, threatened tariffs, and the government backed down right away. So they're hoping that is going to send a really strong message to any other country that decides not to cooperate and accept these planes with their own citizens
that's where all
inside,
y'all passport
guys.
chicks is at.
Hey, so Brooke, I got a question for you. There's a story in our packet today about how down in Florida, 2 vans were being driven that had, I think, 24 Chinese nationals in it. They had been smuggled into the country, apparently. China will not take back their people. Obviously, Ecuador does, and that's why that flight
El Salvador,
just went there. What other countries have already said, have they either said no,
How you not gonna
don't
take
send
back
them,
your own
or
people?
yes, we'll take them?
We know that a flight went to Guatemala and now Ecuador, and the authorities took them. And again, that flight that I mentioned to Colombia that denied these illegal migrants, this was the perfect example, right? You have them denying their own citizens, not taking them in. President Trump immediately taking action, saying, okay, if you're not going to listen to me, then watch what happens. And this is the perfect example they want to show countries who don't cooperate. You don't listen to us, us will watch what happens next.
Wow. Right. Great reporting, Brooke.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Listen, come get your people. Passport sis, come get your people. I heard that guys was reporting on chicks that they brought over here, they baby mamas that was still illegal and hadn't got their papers yet, and it was trying to get on them. I heard guys was reporting them to ICE and trying to get $1,000 from the bounty hunters in order to report their baby mamas, and they was actually giving them the real. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me acknowledge the Cash Appers first. Thank you, Marquita Robinson. I appreciate you. You are the GOAT. Thank you for the coffee. Anton, you got me hungry the way you cooking, says Faith. What up, Faith? My lady's been holding me down lately. My ladies, I know my ladies are the ones that hit a like for the algorithm. It's over 6,000 people in here on YouTube alone, and we only got 2,000 likes. That's insane. That's insane. I know who got laid off. Those are the 27 dislikes. Don't get mad at me. You should have waited for the buyout. You should have waited for the federal buyout. Let me look at some of these super chats. Abe the Hunter is in the bill. What up, Abe? Says, will admit you was a simp for 13 years until AD pointed out my weak ways. Realize my value and now about to sign an important contract that's next level. Shout out to the people that are recovering simps. No longer we are simps. We are now strong, and we don't have boxolitis. Car, what up, Car? Says, hit the like button. We almost at 6K watching, but barely at 2K likes. Hit that like button. God bless you and Team Anton. Thank you. I appreciate you, love. Oh, we got 2 more people that got laid off. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. TB says, Anton, am I wrong for wanting to see the end to EBT housing and food stamps? I know the community is shaking in their boots. They are scared. You are not wrong, TB. High Tolerance says, those are same ninjas you pull up on a riding and with they chick smashing off at the light like they mad at the world. Yeah, they just gonna peel off. Are you looking at him? You looking at him on your passenger side? Casual Germ says, imagine being a ruthless leader in a cartel and then suddenly you and your ops are standing in the same unemployment line looking salty. I think we should cut off Mexico. No trips over to Mexico for the next 6 months. Drew says, C-17 does have 2 bathrooms. It's really cold inside. The seats don't flex. The floors are hard. Our military have been traveling like that for years. Well, they don't get better treatment than the military, do they? Sundir says, come on, Vamanos. Everybody, let's go. Dora voice. Shout out to my girl, Sundir. They said that the T is silent. I'm going to call you to Sundir, though. DTA 550 says the migrants can be entertained on their way back home by Jennifer Lewis's song, We Gonna Be All Right. I like that. It's Lanita, Alarita. Shout out to Lanita. Lanita is in the building, says, people are, I know 3 of them, who are financially able to and were just working to build up their savings. They planned it. All right, Lanita. I appreciate you, baby. Well, you know I can't let the stream end without addressing one more thing. You know I can't let the stream end unless I address public enemy number 1. Who is public enemy number 1? Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. That's my name. Don't mess my name up. Well, Brandon Johnson was subpoenaed by Congress to testify next month in February. And he decided to get his lawyers on the call to figure out if it was a request that was required or if this is something that was suggestive. Other mayors were subpoenaed also, including Eric Adams and Mike Johnston over in Denver and several other of my colleagues. But the one thing that we're not going to do is we're not going to obfuscate. We're not going to obfuscate. All right. We're going to protect the people here in Chicago. And we're going to make sure that we contact the Archdiocese. And one thing that you also have to do is you have to call my wife Miss First Lady. Don't call her out of her name. Don't call her out. We'll end this press conference right now. Brandon Johnson had a press conference yesterday addressing the concerns that they are experiencing over in Chicago, not only with being subpoenaed by Congress in order to testify before them for being a sanctuary city and being held accountable for that, but also about his feelings about the Trump administration arresting criminals inside of his city. Let's see if we can scrub through and find some good parts of this press conference, because I know it was plenty of people that spoke, and we need Mayor Johnson to come to the front of the congregation.
Here right now,
is not a
excuse me. Alex Capriello with News Nation. We do know that the Trump administration has threatened legal action against sanctuary cities that hold similar to your welcoming city ordinance. So I'm wondering if this was a discussion, and since President Trump became the president again for a second term, knowing that this sort of invitation might be coming, and how the city of Chicago might have been preparing for this moment.
well, again, regardless of who's in the White House.
Well, again, regardless of who's in the White House, we're going. All right, let me let him answer. We got to find. I know what his answers are. I know he's going to use some 3- and 4-syllable words. He's going to throw them in there. But we want to hear what Brandon Johnson got to say. Brandon, tell us what's going on.
We're going to project our values and what working people across this city have asked for. They have asked for investments and opportunities to make sure that they have the ability to afford to live in this beloved city, to make sure that their children can go to a school that's within their neighborhood, that's fully funded, to have reliable transportation, environmental justice, all the investments that we're making. That's what the people of Chicago are experiencing in my administration. So again, regardless of who's in the White House, it's not going to be a determinant on whether or not we're going to hold up to our values. We are a welcoming city. We're proud of that work, and we'll continue to make sure that we're protecting the interests of all working people in the city.
How many people in Chicago have felt this neighborhood investment? And let's cut the Brandon Johnson BS out. How many people in Chicago have felt the investments inside of your city? The only investment that I've seen is the removal of ShotSpotter that allows for criminals to be able to get off their shots, pow, pow, without having to worry about the police automatically alerted. The only investments I've seen was in their pocketbooks, because while they were sitting there trying to furlough employees and raise taxes and be able to hit y'all with a bag tax, they gave themselves raises the minute that they got into office. That's the only thing that I've seen. How many people have seen Chicagoans over there in Crook County, because I know they keep taking y'all properties for themselves, how many of y'all have seen capital investments inside of your neighborhoods? How many of y'all have seen improvements in this welcoming city for illegal migrants for Chicago?
A brief follow-up, Mayor. Your reaction to Border Czar Tom Homan making his presence known here in your city over the weekend and the arrest that happened, and your overall thoughts on this first week of the Trump administration, particularly when it comes to our city.
Well, look, I think what's clear from this administration is that they do not have the full pulse or the breadth of what people in America are calling for. And
he won a popular vote. He won every single swing state. How does he not have a pulse on what the people in America is calling for? Listen, this is y'all mayor. Y'all voted for this guy. Y'all genuinely said, you know what? I think that this guy is the best person for the job. Y'all said that Brandon Johnson was the best person for the job. He just said out of his mouth that he don't think that the president of the United States of America, even though all of the polls say differently, even though over 65% of people say that they want all migrants gone, he's telling us that the Trump administration doesn't have a clue on what the American people really want inside of the United States of America, and that's why they're protecting illegal migrants over in Chicago. Got it.
And, you know, he has made it no secret that he wants to dismantle the education department. And he's made it very clear that he is not willing to, you know, uphold the very sensibilities of our democracy to make sure that we're protecting the civil rights of individuals. Look, as a former public school teacher, the fact that everything that we won and fought for during Reconstruction, he is trying to roll back the hands of time. And as I've said, that there's a clear disdain for the fact that the Civil War went in a direction that clearly there are people in this country have not accepted. So we're going to continue to stand up for working people. That's what my mission is. The city of Chicago, we are the heartbeat of America, and we will continue to lead the way.
I call BS. 100%. 100%.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Are you angry, or were you angry or surprised at getting that letter? What was your initial reaction at reading it?
Well, I don't get angry. You know,
I don't get angry. You know, I get a little bit disappointed. I get frustrated. We're evaluating our options. I try not to lead with anger, but I do get disappointed. I'm passionate, but I do get disappointed. I get a little bit frustrated at the letter that says what it says from the Trump administration and from Congress. But again, we're going to continue to be diligent in our dedication to the citizens here in Chicago. We're letting everybody know their rights. We're referring it over to the legal department of whether or not we should actually testify. And again, I don't get angry. Only disappointed, only frustrated. I don't get angry, guys.
It's just not my temperament. You know, sometimes I might, you know, get a little frustrated, but.
One day this year, or one day before this guy leaves office, I promise you on everything, I'm going to come in here with a mohawk and a gray patch on my beard right here. One day, I'm going to come into this studio and I am going to have a mohawk and I'm going to have a gray patch in my beard. That's what I'm going to be for next year for Halloween. I'm going to be Brandon Johnson.
Look, my focus is investing in people. That's what.
If this guy isn't so predictable, I don't know what is.
You see the full force of government on display. You know, here we're not going to get sidetracked and allow anyone to push us to forfeit our humanity. We're not going to surrender that. So
I have not watched this.
In people.
This is my first time watching this. I've not watched. I don't have the capacity and the time. I am slammed all day long. I am not watching a 1 hour and 13-minute press conference from Brandon Johnson. I'm not doing it.
A lot of work that we have to continue to do in Chicago, and I'm grateful that there are many people who understand the importance of that work.
And pivoting a little bit, the White House also put temporary funding, cut temporarily funding to projects across the country, nonprofits, agencies, governments. I'm wondering if you can talk about what could be affected or what you're worried about or watching. In particular, I'm wondering the red line, is that in jeopardy of being on hold or cut at all?
Well, look, it's, again, no secret that this administration has a great deal of disdain for working people.
Oh, brother. Another victim Olympian.
Corporate counsel here. But, you know, I had a conversation earlier today with Senator Durbin as well as Senator Duckworth. These are unprecedented
unprecedented, that's the name.
But to attempt to defund childcare or to defund, you know, infrastructure projects, this is
we're not taking care of nobody else's
well
kids.
outside
We're done with
the purview of the executive office. These appropriations have been mandated by the legislative branch. These are laws, and
I know more.
You know, we as a country of laws and democracy, we prefer when we have leaders who actually are committed to upholding that law. Mary, anything else?
Mary Richardson, Oregon Corporation.
We good, Mary. We heard all we needed to hear straight from Brandon Johnson, straight out of the mouth of babes. Let me give Brandon a round of applause because, boy, does he give me great content to be able to have a conversation about on a regular basis. Anyways, neither here nor there. I would like to read these super chats really quickly. Veto Power says, good morning, brother. Do you think if they cut Section 8 and EBT benefits, it would force more men into the household? I think it would force more women to go home. I think that you would have a whole new fleet of submissive people. That humility, that jump, it kick in. It's only so much hair you can do. It's only so many products you can steal to sell online on Facebook Marketplace. It's only so many Ultimas. It's only so much financing that they're going to do. It's only so much Afterpay and Klarna that you're going to have. I think that it would 100% force people to get back together and get families together because you wouldn't have basically families, the separation of families being funded by the federal government. You would see more people getting to work, taking care of business, taking care of their families, staying together because they wouldn't have as many options to get out of their circumstance. That people would be more intentional about picking a person that they procreate with also. Leora Jimenez, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Car Fairbanks is in the building, says almost 6K and 2K likes. I appreciate you. Shout out to you, says Anton. Do you have any input about the Hispanic community being upset that the FBAs are not stepping up to protest the deportation? Black people got their own problems. Look, you're going to have to save yourself. You got to save yourself. Ain't nobody protesting for you. Look, this is what I learned. You want to know what I know for sure? One thing is for sure and two things for certain. You can't have people protesting you when half of them got warrants out for their arrest. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You can't have, look, they checking everybody ideas and they running they background check. 63% of everybody that be complaining on that side got warrants out for their. I ain't protesting for you. You know why black people felt so compelled to protest during the George Floyd riots and stuff like that? Because there was a whole bunch of other people, and in order to get me, you got to get them first. There was more white people out there protesting than it was black people. People got warrants out for their arrest for child support. They got warrants out for their arrest for driving under a suspended license. Oh, they ain't want me to say that part. They ain't want me to say that part. All right. Y'all don't have warrants. You're right. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody about to be sitting there protesting for you. I gotta save myself. Every man for theyself today. In 2025, it's every man for theyself. Go ahead and protest out there if you want to. We got a pair of metal bracelets waiting for you. Child support court. Stay in jail until you get caught up. Casual German in the building says Congress done snatched him by his collar. They about to put him in detention and make him write mohawks are not for grown men. 100 times on the chalkboard. Seeker of Truth says make sure it's a point in the rooftop mohawk. I got y'all. I might pull up tomorrow with a mohawk. It depends. What is it, Wednesday? I ain't live streaming today. Yeah. What in the World TV says he don't get angry, but he will be angry when he get arrested for treason. Y'all think that they would arrest him for treason? That would be crazy. DP says his sign language interpreter. Yeah, I was looking at him too. Sign language interpreter's hand movement is a little sassy. I don't know if it's that job that's meant for a man. It's not a job for a chaser. Depends on how much they paying. Listen, you gotta get that money. Leisha says Mayor Mohawk spews the worst word salad. What up, Leisha? Here come my baby mama. All women, whether they got kids or not, are baby mamas to me, in my opinion. All right? Here come my baby mama. Shout out to Molly. Me University says God been forcing folks' hand to stay together as families lately serve his purpose better. I agree with you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on the face of this earth. I think I'm going to push Stock Club to tonight. Because if you do it at 3 p.m. Eastern, sometimes a lot of people ain't home from work. That's what I experienced because then they have to restream it. I think I want to do Stock Club tonight. What do y'all think? Let me get a post in the chat. Is if y'all want to do it at 3 p.m. today or if you want to do it at like 8 p.m. tonight when most people are settled, they home, their kids are fed, everybody's satisfied, give you some time to get yourself together. Y'all want to do Stock Club tonight? Or you want to do it at 3 p.m.? It's up to y'all. Let me see what the post is in the chat for the bag chasers. I figured that. Everybody is saying, yeah. Yeah, I figured that. Okay. All right. So I'll reschedule it. I'll do it right now. 98% of everybody is saying 8 p.m. would be more convenient. All right. So 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I'm going to push it back to 8 p.m. so I can give y'all some time to get yourselves together. Sometimes it's a little much from y'all to come straight after the Millionaire Morning Show. You still got to do some work. Y'all behind on y'all work. I ain't trying to get y'all fired, but we want to give y'all the information. So 8 p.m. tonight, Stock Club. Make sure you're there. If you're not a bag chaser, then you need to. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, Tiege Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And we going to get it in. Let's get this money, y'all. Back at it, Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow. After hours tomorrow. Stock Club tonight. I love y'all. Y'all the greatest audience that I've ever seen in my entire life. I genuinely love y'all, and I appreciate y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Stock Club chasers, I'm going to talk to y'all tonight, though. Peace.